don't really even believe in investment. I just believe in savings. And savings can, throw off a little bit of return and whatnot. I do believe that investment is important, but at the end of the day, we don't live in a world where investment is worth, in many ways, is worth the risk.
Right.
I want to get to the other side of that. I don't know that I'm going to live long enough to get.
Especially in a gold standard or a Bitcoin standard world.
That's where that's when I want to be investing. I don't want to be investing in this shit fucking world.
Right.
Like this is just way too much currency risk. Like I literally sit around every day and I'm like, I could buy. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have dollar savings and I have those dollars at work, and trying to at least get that funds rate. That's not to say that, but that's all it is. It's just because I know I need dollars to get to live my life, but all the money that I've earned, and again, I want to remind everybody that I actively and specifically don't own a lot of financial assets, very few actually, because if I have skin in that game, it affects my analysis.
Sure. Yeah.
And so I'd rather just stay fiercely independent of it all and just like, well, you know what? Yeah, I'll just keep living off of cash flow, and I'll just keep trying to build the business in such a way that I can live the lifestyle I want to live, do the things I want to do in this life, and put some money away every month. And if I do that, we'll figure shit out when I may be staring at actually maybe getting a couple of bucks back from my Social Security. Wake me when that fucking happens.
Yeah. So Tom, we're 10 minutes away from 2 hours here. So I have one last question I want to ask you. And it has to do with this idea, and you touched on a little bit in your recent article about this loss of hope that we're seeing spread through humanity, and loss of faith in institutions, right? Mm-hmm. We're living in a trustless environment where you can't trust anything you hear, can't trust anything you see. Mm-mm. It's becoming increasingly difficult to even validate what's true. And in that kind of world, how do people... I kind of get the sense that maybe there'll be so much distrust that people will just spin out and fall back on being human. This is like I'm done with trying to be involved in everything and know everything, and I'm just going to fall back to being human. Is this might be the homestead movement that's become such a big movement here in the United States? But there's also seems to be these other people like going full on transhuman, and they want chips in their brain, and they want to take every drug known to man to be up here at this new level of humanity. Like, are we splitting into two different time frames? Like, are we going to go into two different worlds?
That's such a good question.
Like, where are we in this?
I mean, that's a really good question, especially considering that. It was inspired by me, talking about Philip K. Dick from in this month's newsletter, and which who grappled with this very fundamental idea for his entire adult life, right? All too brief life, to be honest with you. I don't know. I think that when we get too far away from what we evolved in, the milieu that we evolved in, which is, meat space outside my window as opposed to flat land that you and I are dealing with right now. When life gets a little too easy, which it is for a lot of people, because we've done yeoman's work in turning what is into what will be. Right. We've done unbelievable work to harness the power of the universe. And, I think about that as a former chemist, from the Gibbs free energy perspective, from a quantum mechanics perspective. These are fundamental, concepts to and foundational concepts to the way I build my model of the universe. And my model of the universe is at best fucked. But, I can tell you that we probably need to go back to that. I don't know whether we will. And that is that may be a frightening thought.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you.
Well, these big 100-year events tend to send us back there, whether we want to or not, right?
I mean, I'm gonna next week I'm gonna sit down with Ben Davis and the Suspicious Observers and Dave Collum, and we're gonna have a 3-way talk about solar physics and all that stuff, and that'll be fun because I've been following Ben for a long time. I've never got a chance to meet him and chat with him, so that's gonna be fun. And I'll tell you, there's always a crisis somewhere, right? And there's always an apocalypse over the horizon.
Yeah, that's true. And it never tends to be as bad as I anticipate it to be.
Well, yeah.
At least in my lifetime, right?
So far. And believe me, I've done many years of this, Paul. And I went crazy and built my own house in the middle of Florida, in the middle of the field in Florida 21 years ago. And I'm still like,
we're in the process of doing the same thing.
I'm trying to figure out who that guy was because he was crazy, raising goats and composting eggshells and like all the whole 9 yards. And been there, did that, got the T-shirt, spent the 5 years, milking goats and selling goat cheese at the farmers market, and I've done it all from that perspective. And now I just want to, I don't know. I kind of want it a little easy, and I know it's not coming. So I'm 56 years old now, and it's, if anything, it's time to pass on all that knowledge to everybody else and figure out how to. It's that whole Gary North third top layer of the cake thing that I've talked about many times in the past. And if anybody has not read Gary North's seminal article, The Top Layer of the Cake, every man listening to this podcast, stop what you're doing, stop listening to me filibuster, and go read Dr. North, because that fucking guy. Wow. Holy shit. So I don't know, Paul. I don't have a good answer for that one, but I think it's certainly we're out of balance at this point.
Absolutely.
Certainly in the West, we're out of balance. In other places in the world, we're not even close.
I guess the only hope I have is that when I look back through history at these existential moments, universe has a way of just slapping everybody back to the middle, whether we like it or not, and whether we get there because of a good thing or a bad thing, but we end up getting there, it seems like. And
invariably, we get what we deserve.
So you've heard Bitcoin is the new gold rush by now. As world leaders on all sides have endorsed it as the future of money, and now you're looking to get started, we'll show you how. It's actually easier than you think. First, go to your nearest ByteFederal ATM and turn your cash to coin. ByteFederal has over 1,200 locations around the country with the highest daily limits. Go to our website, ByteFederal.com, to find the nearest ATM to you. Log in to any wallet, then create an account, deposit your US cash, and instantly convert it to Bitcoin. That's it. We are the only US manufacturer and operator in the Bitcoin ATM industry, and our US-based live customer service is second to none. Go on, give it a whirl, and don't get left behind. Click the link below.